How's it going, guys? It's a Saturday night. Welcome to episode 23 of the Mutant XPerience podcast. Tonight, I'm very pleased to welcome my special guest for this evening, Remy Savant, CF Original, East Coast Third Strike legend, Everdred. How's it going, Everdred? How's it going?
Hey. Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Man, dude, I am so glad that I finally have you on the show, man, because it's actually been a pretty interesting last couple of podcasts. As some of you on the stream knows, where we've just started season 3 of the Mutant XPerience podcast, and on the first episode we had KO Fiend, and then on the second episode we had Cookie. And so Everdred is kind of like the last of the CF originals that I'll be interviewing this season. And I kind of just wanted to schedule all of you guys before Random Select, which is obviously the big Third Strike tournament / event that's happening next month at iFix Machine. KO Fiend's going to be there. Hopefully Cookie can be there. You're going to be there, right, Everdred?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, sure, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll
So,
be there.
so for those of you who are longtime Remy players, or for those of you who are just picking up the character, if you wanna, if there's any weekend for you guys to go to IFM in Brooklyn and watch some Third Strike, it would be that weekend, because obviously Everdred's gonna be there, as well as the Rage, who actually appeared on my on Frankie BFG's podcast yesterday. And so we were talking about this. Before we get into how you got to play Street Fighter and stuff, we're just gonna like shoot some shit, right? Like before the podcast started, we were talking about how, because the Rage, right? Even though he started out as a Remy main and then he switched over to like other characters, he's number one ranked on the PSN boards apparently, and apparently Everdred, you are ranked number one in the Switch 3S leaderboards.
Yeah, but it's, there's good players on the Switch, there's just fewer.
Yeah, this is the state of Third Strike in America, guys. We got 2 Remy players on top of 2 leaderboards at 30th anniversary. We got the Rage on PSN, and we got Everdred holding it down on the Switch.
I didn't know Rage did that. Yeah, I need to be like, wow, man, that's really cool. That's PSN. I think that's more legitimate. It's like everyone has a PlayStation.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about the Switch version of 30th anniversary later on in the podcast. But before we do that, man, like it's been a long time, dude, since we talked, dude. Probably.
Oh yeah.
I think the last time I saw you was at Summer Jam.
Oh yeah.
Wow, which was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you made top 8. Very, very strong showing in that tournament. Definitely showing what Remy could do, and that's kind of what you've been doing for like most of your career, right? Just using this character, sort of struggling with him, but like, one of the things I wanted to talk about later in the podcast, dude, is just like I admire your ability to just stick with this character, man. Like fuck, like you've been playing this game for 30 years or whatever, however old this game is, and you have just your loyalty is amazing. Because even when I was struggling with Necro, I was thinking of switching it up. I was like, man, maybe I should main Urian, maybe I should switch to Dudley. But I never got that cheating eye from you, Doug. Like it always felt like you were gonna make it work with Remy, and you never quit. You never quit. You are the American Piero, dude. I think you just not to say that you're any that you're
No.
comparing skill level, but I'm just talking about the commitment to the character. You know what I mean? Like your commitment to the character is ridiculous.
Nah, it's a hard character. So there's like,
is that what attracted you to him in the first place?
No, I didn't know how hard it was.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. And then like everyone's like, just pick Ken, man. Don't do it. Just like play, because you can learn how to play the game right, and then like be basic level, and I think that's where I'm at. I'm like really basic level,
Uh-huh.
but because I pick Remy so many times, I have way more experience in matchups
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
those people don't touch Remy at all
Yeah.
and don't get like that basic like. So it's like, yeah. So that's the only advantage. But then I can't do a Genei combo. I don't. I can't. I can
Join the
do
club.
I can do short super. I can low confirm with Chung Li. Like, but I can't do like the super high level. I think, but like I can't like the really like the technical stuff. Not, I mean, I can't do that at all.
But you can do it with Remy.
It's like necessity.
Yeah.
You have to like build on it because if
Yeah.
you like try to get all the moving parts like that, you won't know like you show too much, and then it's like people just blow you up with just jumping in, and they're not even looking at what you're. I'm just gonna jump right here. And they're like, "Oh, but I had this big master plan." Like they're not even like thinking about what you're doing next. They're just like, "I'm just gonna jump here," and then, I landed super, and then half your life is dead, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's so." And you have to play very like really one step ahead.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah,
can't like
well,
play. Yeah, I don't know.
well, before we get into all that Remy strategy talk, 'cause I definitely do want to get into it later on in the podcast. Tell me something that we've never even really talked about before, like just as friends and stuff. Like, how'd you get into fighting games, man? Like, how did this sort of like, where did you discover Street Fighter? What was your first Street Fighter game that you played really like religiously? I mean, how did you get into Street Fighter?
Uh, I remember my first day at CF,
Uh-huh.
and I was playing
Whoa, 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 whoa,
OJ.
whoa, 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 wait. So are you telling me you never touched Street Fighter until you went to New York for college?
I never touched arcade Street Fighter since I went till I was
Okay.
like in high school. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe I always played like Super Nintendo
Uh-huh.
or
Okay.
PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, but then like to learn
Uh-huh.
like
FGC,
technically,
right? Yeah.
yeah, like really learn. Like I put a quarter in, and like OJ plays me. I didn't know his name. I don't know him, but he just picks Ken, and he just,
Is this Third Strike?
yeah, he just sweeps me.
Uh-huh.
The first like no, like both rounds, just sweeps me. Like I
Uh-huh.
didn't know how to block low and down.
Uh-huh.
That was like day one. That was, yeah. So
Okay.
that was a really, and that's what I do to other people now. I just do sweeps because I'm
Is
like
that is that your kind of CF initiation? Is that like
yeah, it's fun. Especially on Switch. It's like Switch is like because you got so many people playing it for the first time because it's accessible and it's like
yeah.
it's actually the netcode's really good if you're right next to somebody.
Which defeats the purpose of netcode, right? Good netcode, but yeah.
But
It works as long as you're close enough to the guy, right?
yeah. I played a place. No, I went to a high school where we would bring our system, our PlayStation during lunch or
Uh-huh.
whatever, and I play like EX a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I play Street Fighter EX a lot, like Alpha, yeah, two
Mm-hmm.
or plus whatever and then Alpha EX1, but EX3 wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, and Alpha 3 and Alpha 2, but not. I mean, I'm playing on like either the Super Nintendo controller because I was playing Alpha 2, and I shouldn't even have customs. I think I don't even know. Um, and I'll play against my brother, and then play Killer Instinct 1 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was the kind of before Street Fighter. I saw Street Fighter.
Now, did you know about the FGC before you went to New York for college, or like, or
I
were
went to
you?
college.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I went to be in New York.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I didn't know about the FGC or
Uh-huh.
anything. It's just like, oh, they got arcades here. I'm gonna go to that over
Uh-huh.
there because Florida they just
Uh-huh.
closed the last one. Flippers. They closed Flippers.
Uh-huh.
and I was down in Miami.
So
And
you're originally from Florida, and then you went to New York, but
yeah,
you went to New York for yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like close flippers, and they had third strike there, and I think third strike didn't help. I'm like, it's like this will help us with our sales.
Yeah,
We'll put
yeah,
this
sure.
card game in here. Oh,
Definitely
no
right.
one's playing it. That was terrible. Uh,
So
yeah.
what was that like, your experience? Because on the last podcast, Cookie was talking about his first experiences in Chinatown Fair. I mean, what were your first impressions of that arcade?
Um, it was just like it was just the people who wanted to play you would play you, and the people who didn't play you didn't play you.
Uh huh.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything. There wasn't anything wrong with that. It's just like if you got good enough to play them, then they would play you,
Uh-huh.
and no one was there to waste anyone's time. No one was, you know. So it was just it was a very like I think mentally like it was very crisp and clear. Like you were there to like really experience and take from like the community, and be a part of it. You're taking from it, yeah, but you're like being a part of it, so you're contributing, and like Henry is awesome, and everyone who worked there, and Kuma,
Hmm.
everyone was just is like it was just like awesome. I I I I wish I was there more often,
Hmm.
but it was good when I was there.
Who are some of the like some of the early Third Strike CF players that don't really play anymore that you remember being like particularly strong when you started out? Like name drop some of these players for me,
I'm really bad at names. I was just
or
like,
just
oh,
describe them, right? Like,
there was an Oro player.
I know.
There was a I think there was a Ryu player. It's like Denjin. No, not Denjin, but Shinsho Ryu. Um, you know, there was Anthony. Hellgen.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure he still plays and stuff. And he's him and KO Fiend.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much, I just stuck with those guys,
Yeah.
and I just played like with those guys, and whoever was around, you know, would we played them too, and
Hmm.
but it was pretty much like we could tolerate like losing to each other. I think that's what it is,
Uh-huh.
because it's like, oh, you know where you were like the other day or a week ago or a couple months ago. So it's like you can tolerate and be like, okay, if he loses to me or I lose to him or he beats me or whatever, it's like there's a little like you can actually like there's a train of thought. It's
Uh-huh.
not completely like randomed out. Even you can tell if someone's being random, but it was good. Like for me, that's how I felt. I can stand losing to those guys because
Hmm.
I can measure myself and my performance and get better that way.
Hmm. Yeah, like I remember when I first moved to New York, really the scene was being run by like you, KO Fiend, sometime, Flair much a little later on. Uh I know Fran and Quotes, they would always come down to CF. Like that was
I
kind of
never
like
ran anything.
that
I
was
never ran anything.
you ran the Remy.
No, I don't ran anything. I just, I am content in like I don't know. I was one of the first people, like in a long list of people who'd be like, oh, let's patch the third strike and let's like make the weaker characters better. But then like, man, I'm not good enough to even make that call. I don't think anyone is.
Hmm.
It's like it's just what it is. It's like, and there's like you can always be better. Then it's like, but then like how the matchup is, but then you're never as good as the matchup is anyway. So it's like I can't. I used to really, really like, man, Remy needs all these changes and buffs, and I never said nerfs.
Uh-huh.
I never said nerf people,
Uh-huh.
But now I see him like I need wait. There's so much more. There's such a big gap until you can really like understand, and I don't understand at all. So that's all right. I'm just that's why I'm like so not bored with playing Remy.
Uh-huh.
It's like there's so much more to learn that it's just like I don't see I see the like when all the moving parts work really well. So it's like that's it what interests me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like, well, what first attracted you to the character though? Like what? Why do you think you gravitated towards Remy?
Um I used like Charlie and
Okay.
Alpha 3 and but that's and then like and I saw like custom combos and I'm like, oh okay, so I'm like in order to like learn Charlie at Alpha 3, I have to learn custom combos. But then I'm like, I'm not really like happy learning that, I guess. And then I saw like, yeah, Street Fighter 2, like they had Guile and stuff, and Sagat. Sagat was really cool. I like the high and low, and I like projectiles. I like that fact that he can throw them high and low. Um, and I've always played like charge characters, like Sagat, and like I mean Guile. But saw Remy in the arcade, and it was just like I don't know. I was thinking he was like more like Guile than he is like Sagat, but I think he's more like Sagat than he is like Guile. You know.
Wow, that's
So
interesting. I've never heard anyone compare Remy to Sagat.
yeah.
So like Remy is like the bastard child. Like if Sagat and Guile had a baby, they would have had Remy. Is that what you're?
I don't know. It's like you want to be like a bully and jump behind dash behind your Sonic booms or walk behind them and do all this stuff but then it's like all his moves are like either you down parry it
Uh-huh.
once, I mean, if it's two hit, you down parry it once, the other hit misses, you down parry or you just move away. And it's like, so you can't really play like Guile. And it's so you have to like choose between the two. And that's then you're like going back and and I think that's what the advantage he has over both. I
Well,
don't know.
that's actually a really smart thing that you just said, Doug, because to me, one of the hardest things to master in any fighting game is knowing when to go in and knowing when not to go in. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like knowing when to
maybe
hang
never
back.
never
Maybe never
knowing.
knowing, right?
Never knowing.
but that's kind of what you're talking about, right? Like it's like Remy is this sort of combination that sort of forces you. Like if you can be godlike with Remy, you can be godlike in Street Fighter, because like he's blessed with a really strong offensive game, Remy.
I mean, you
But
have to like
but the
get
problem
approach.
is, right? He's so weak. He can't get touched. His dizzy meter is so small. It's so short. So it's like he's like one of the characters where like you have to know when to go in and when not to go. Because if you make the wrong decision, you're fucked, dude. Because you cannot get touched with this character. I'm telling you.
No,
You just cannot. You do not want to catch these hands against.
a stray hit. A
Yeah,
stray
right.
buffer, like oh you walked into my low forward. There goes a third of your life.
Yeah, right.
You walked into a low forward. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish Remy had that. You walk into a low forward.
Uh-huh. Actually,
Yeah,
do you know if Ken can stun after a low forward super? Like if he does like low forward super, right? And if Ken does like fierce, strong super, does that stun Remy? That stuns Remy, right? Those two combos, I think it does.
He has the same stun. Anything that works on, I think, on Akuma works on Remy.
Yeah.
They have the same exact stun bar, I think, but Remy recovers faster.
Yeah. It's just the fact that you could die on two guesses or two good reads, It's like, God, man, like you really have to know when to hang back, when to apply pressure, when to press this button, when not to press this button. Oh, dude. Remy, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. Remy's hard. right?
Yeah, like you throw like the low one, right? And
Uh,
I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, it's you directed. I can just talk and talk and
yeah.
talk. I don't know
Nah,
what to
man.
talk about.
This is your podcast, dude. Talk me up with that Remy, dude. Yeah.
I don't know. I just what is it? It's gonna say like you throw like you have the time to throw a sonic boom, and
Uh,
then the you always throw the sonic boom at that same time, and then the opponent will see that you always throw the sonic boom at that same time. So like you 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 set up the same time or same arrangement or same positioning that you're going to throw the sonic boom, but then you don't throw the sonic boom. So you anticipate them and anticipating you throwing the sonic boom, but you set up the whole situation spacing that you're going to throw the sonic boom. So then you watch what they do, and then that's more likely enough. That's when they jump. So that's when you're like, instead of throwing the sonic boom, like you set yourself up to like, oh, I'm gonna jump forward, and it's random hard punch, random elbow. It's just like just like, or like you dash back, or you dash underneath them if they dash forward, or jump forward, or like, but it's like that's the hard part, like setting up the motion to throw it, and then when it's empty and there's no sonic boom, that's when you're able to dash in and all that stuff. But then if they anticipate you not throwing it because you're setting up for that, like they're that level above you on that thinking, then you have to think like, oh, then it just more and more and more. But I think that's like the prime what you have to build off of. Like it's when they want to go low, that's when it's like, oh, you want to throw the high one just so you can like hit them when they're ducking,
mm-hmm.
not when they're already ducked because they'll go over their head. So it's like that they're trying to go low. That's when you throw the high one, thinking they'll think they have enough time to go underneath it, or you throw a low one thinking they have enough time to jump over it. But that's a bad example. You want to throw the low, but if they're jumping, you want to throw the high one. It's
Mm-hmm.
the high one is like way important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like just kind of like not being predictable with him, dude. Because like
Yeah,
if you start autopiloting with Remy, your life is gonna
yeah.
disappear pretty quickly.
It's very hard to break that. I think newer players also
Uh,
they play Street Fighter 3 and they don't go back to neutral after doing any move.
uh,
So they do a move and they
uh.
don't put the stick back to neutral.
Or they don't block,
So they,
right? Or they don't block after,
yeah, they don't use blocking as like a basic like an option, like
Uh.
block. But I think the
That just
sorry.
sounds so stupid. Like, who doesn't use block as a basic option in fighting
Some people
games?
don't.
Is
Like
that
some
how
people
Street
don't
Fighter
want to
has
block.
evolved, dude? Like, what
Yeah,
the?
some
I
people
can't
just don't
even
want to
like.
block.
Block is
Like,
not one of your basic options in a Street
I'm
Fighter
gonna
game.
show you, kid. I'm gonna parry. I'm gonna do everything else but block.
But
Some people
block.
do that, and yeah, and I don't know. I play people like that. They rather just never block at all. And then if you're like they're like really good, it's like that's really dangerous because then it's like they block so rarely that
Uh-huh.
when they do block, whatever they are blocking, they know what they're blocking, and then
Yeah.
that's like, oh, then you just get blown up as a rugby player or any player in general. But um, that's like just one tool being like rarely used, being like super
Uh-huh.
super valuable.
So,
I think.
so long story short, I guess you picked up Remy because you kind of noticed you liked that sort of hybrid aspect about him, right? He's a character he's a character that can space, that he can play that kind of game, but he can also be very aggressive in space stuff. I mean, were there
Uh,
times when you were struggling and grinding with Remy that you seriously thought of changing your main character, or not really?
I instead of changing, I just quit playing. Just
So
stop.
if I'm not gonna use Remy in Third Strike, I'm not gonna play Third Strike at all.
Yeah, that's really it because it's just like I mean, I think later, like the basic knowledge of playing everyone else's other characters with Remy, like playing other people's Yurians, playing other people's Kens and
Uh,
Ryus and Alexes, I
uh,
picked up like a ground level understanding how
uh,
to use those characters and what works. So
uh,
then I can like break down and be like, okay, I don't have to pick Remy every match just for fun. I can
uh,
mess around with other characters now, and that's like super fun. But like learning Remy, can't you can't be juggling like seriously like oh I'm gonna pick 12 and Remy and they're both same time.
yeah.
No, yeah, 20 years later maybe like 30 years later,
Uh-huh.
like I don't know, like it's just like on a proficient level. I mean, I don't see any 12s winning, and I guess I see some Remy's winning something,
Mm,
like Japanese, player Remy's, but I still don't see 12 or Sean.
yeah.
Um, and it's just
Well,
like I don't know.
yeah. Well, speaking of Japanese Remy's, I think now's a good time for us to take our first break. But when we come back, Everdred, this is something that I've always sort of wanted to do with you on a podcast. Um,
Oh no,
but for those of you who remember, Piero had an amazing showing at the last Cooperation Cup earlier this January. And what we're gonna do when we come back on the Mutant Experience podcast is we're gonna go ahead and watch video of his performance at Co-op Cup, and we're gonna watch it with Everdred, and maybe we can pick Everdred's brain in terms of maybe what Piero was doing here and so forth and so
I
on.
won't know. He's way up. I'm well.
Yeah,
Or see what he does. That's what I'm gonna say and
yeah,
do. That's
but
all I do. I just steal Japanese players.
so we're gonna go ahead
Like,
and take a
oh,
quick. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick 3 minute break, but when we come back, more Mutant Experience podcast with Remy Savant Everdred. Don't go anywhere, guys. All right, everyone, welcome back to more Mutant XPerience podcast. With me on tonight's show is longtime Remy player Everdred. So Everdred, did you watch Cooperation Cup at all
Yes.
back in January?
I did.
Uh-huh.
A lot of it's a blur to me. I try to I perk up when I see any Remy's.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
any Remy.
that perk up must have been a motherfucker because,
Oh yeah.
because one of the more notable things to happen at a Cooperation Cup was Pierrot's performance. I think he entered under a troll name, Lucifer.
Oh yeah, that's his. That's his. I didn't know. I thought Lucifer was a whole other Remy.
No, man, that was him, dude.
Because Lucifer, that's old. I've seen that in old Remy videos.
Maybe it's a name that he's been using all along.
Yeah, because I've seen Lucifer in old Remy videos, like before Cooperation.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and watch some of the highlights of Hero's performance at Cooperation Cup, and I want to go ahead and just watch them with Everdred, and and while you're watching it, dude, just kind of like tell me when to pause or whatever, just kind of when you notice something that's like kind of cool or something, just let me know. So let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and watch this, man. All right. So the first match is Pierrot versus Cooney. So, all right. So that jump back, low boom, right? Pretty standard opening.
Crap.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
So after that flash kick, right? Whether the opponent, whether the Shoto rolls or not, you're always in range, perfect range for overhead super, right? After that flash kick,
I think so. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, you space it depending on the character, but you can do it kind of early and get it meaty, or you can just space it so you do it late. So they think, even if they get hit by it, it won't combo into super. It's not meaty. So it's either you do it like early so it hits late, or you space it so it like after they get up.
Now, Doug, this matchup, just like on paper, right? This got to be horrible for Remy. Denjin Ryu versus Remy. I mean, it's got to be bad. So how are we supposed to approach this match? What's your advice when it comes to facing Denjin Ryu?
I don't know. I realize the difference between like me playing now and me back then is not really an escape, but like you get in, you do what you get in and you do what you can, but then you already decided how you're getting out or how you're moving out. And how you're moving out is part of how the person escapes the situation you put in.
Ooh. See, here's the thing, right? What I don't understand about that sequence there. So
you want to go back?
So look how patient Remy has to be. And look at this, right? Look at that. Cooney is just waiting for Pierrot to press a button.
Yeah, he wants a down parry really bad.
So right here, right? So he does the short and then doom, right? And then he does crouching strong. Yeah. Why doesn't Cooney crouching strong fireball Denjin there? Can't he do that? Or does Remy have a normal that's fast enough and that reaches far enough to kind of punish that pressure? I guess he probably
from the crouching strong.
Yeah, because I've seen Ryu players that do like crouching strong and then fireball, cancel it to Denjin. Because because you don't have to charge very long to stun Remy, right?
Well, but in that situation with Remy, look at his stun, he has no stun on him. If he got hit like maybe twice, had a third of his meter.
Oh yeah,
stun. Then crouching strong. That would have been probably a good answer to that.
But
But
because
he
he
has
blocked,
no.
but because he blocked the block string, yeah.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he should wait till the
Oh,
next
and
round.
but how ballsy is that flash kick, dude?
Yeah,
Because if he parries that, right, game over, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's just that's ridiculous, right? So,
But he did a crouching short right before it.
uh,
That crouching short could have been right after that crouching short could have been a sonic boom.
uh,
So he's jumping because he thinks he's gonna do the sonic boom,
uh.
but he flash kicks.
Another thing
This.
too, Everdred, like I see. Look at that. Look how easy it is to. Oh, he got out of it
Yeah.
too.
Oh my god.
Look at this patience. Now, here, just the little things, right, Everdred? Like
Right.
in that situation, right? Like this is what makes Remy like just like little things. He does the low short flash kick. Why? Because like it's a decent punish. I think you can do crouching strong flash kick too.
Hmm.
But look how fucking far he knocks Ryu away, dude. Right? It's like it forces the opponent, like, right? It's like, oh god, now I gotta get in again. You know what I mean? As
He's like
opposed,
the yeah. It's like the anti Hugo. Like
yeah,
it's like I put you close to me. Now
yeah,
you're closer.
yeah.
uh,
Now here's the thing,
yeah.
right? Here's the
Now
thing
it's
that
done.
perplexes me though. Like cold blue kick. Like, this move is like I hear so many varying opinions about how good this move is. And it's like there are opinions all over the spectrum. Oh, the move sucks. Oh, it's a really good move. It's a godlike move. I mean, like, what are your overall thoughts about cold blue kick?
um. It's kind of like a gamble, I guess.
Hmm.
But you gamble with your meter, like your not super meter, but your health meter. So like if you're,
That's like any
I would
move, but okay.
yeah, I don't know, like I think with it varies in like the when you're high on life, right? Yeah, you're not more risky, but you want to keep the control. But then when when you're again those little tiny like middle range
Uh,
scramble situations, they're throwing low forwards and stuff, and you might actually have more a better spacing. Like you have a feel for where their positioning is. It's
uh,
more about and then those big like the hard kick, cold blue kicks that go across the screen,
uh,
like that's like those are like they're jumping forward, getting hit by that. But those small ones like that, it's really this. I mean, everyone says, "Oh,
uh.
it's for the game, go for lows and stuff," but it's really,
Because it's hard to react to that stuff, right?
yeah,
Now here's the thing, right? Piero does he whiffs standing short before he does cold blue kick. You see that?
mm,
Like, what do you think
right,
the whiff short was for? What was it to bait a move, hoping Cooney would press a button?
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it, right?
Standing short into a sonic boom,
Uh huh.
and then this. I mean, that would have been another like option, right?
Uh huh.
But if Piero thinks he's gonna react to the sonic boom, like let's say it's gonna be like a high sonic boom,
Uh
crouch
huh.
standing short, high, he'll sweep or something. So that's where that cool kick. It's like kind of the anticipation of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's you can't really. I mean, you can react like someone presses a button and you input a core circle back like kick
Uh-huh.
and you hop right over it, but like from far away like that, you want to be, I guess, doing it for so you can land and then be at an advantage.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, so this sets up the third round, and Cooney with the post match taunt. Wow. So, all right. So we got round 3 here. Oh, that dash up. All right. Boom pressure. Nice dash under.
Yeah, dash under again. Yeah, it's like when you finally do
Oh no.
anti-air, like you want it to be so rare.
Uh,
It's more about like
nice stutter there. Not stutter, but what do you call that? Like, so, 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 for, so see how Piero he hits the low short and then he pauses a little bit, right, and then he does the crouching strong. Oh, another cold blue kick. Oh my gosh, that was just a read, right? Just like that flash kick. Wow.
yeah. It has to be a raid. It's not. He's picked up on something that Cutie did.
Yeah.
It's not random.
Well, think about it, right? Cooney seemed to be. I think he might have recognized that Cooney's been dashing in short distances, really testing
Yeah.
Pierrot's reactions.
Yeah, he's not getting any down parries on the Remy, right? So he's like, okay, I'm gonna dash in.
I mean, that was a test, right? And because Cooney doesn't, think that. Yeah. See, I don't know before that.
Hmm.
See, notice that Cooney, despite getting hit by the cold blue kick, he dashes in, right? That's a weird dash in, right? Because how is Pierrot not charging? He has to be charging there. Oh wow! And then that dash up grab that probably sealed it. Really.
But that's another problem with Remy. A lot of the times you don't want to be charging at all.
Huh.
It's like, yes, you want to be charging, but I think you want to have the ability to charge and have that. That's the threat. Like then the person doesn't know if you're charging. It's like he gets hit by a random cold blue, or he thinks he got hit by a random cold kick, so he dashes in afterwards. It's like, oh, he wasn't charging. He was doing some mid-range stuff, but he was charging. He could have been thinking that, or I don't really know exactly. You don't want to be charging at all.
So here's another matchup that just seems really bad for Remy on paper. This is Remy taking on Shou's Yun. Shou, one of the strongest, if not the strongest Yun in Japan currently. Oh, just the thing that sort of impressed me the most about this game, Everdred, was just how willing, just how brave Pierrot is to challenge during an Asian.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Because you have to
block it out.
Yeah, you have to put it in the head of your opponent. You have to put it in the head of your opponent that I might do something crazy. I might do something that's unsafe. That's the only way to evolve the meta. If you're just blocking the entire time, then it's not going to evolve. Not going to develop.
Yeah.
So I mean, how does Remy beat Yun? Like clearly, keeping away with fireballs.
Yeah, you keep away with fireballs and then jump angle.
Okay.
Yeah, because if he dives, Remy's jump hard punch will eat up his dive every time. There's no way he's gonna dive kick, and if he's pressing jumping hard punch, so the angle alone of the kick going downwards is perfect for that jump elbow. So if he's diving in reaction to Remy, to get in position. He's not diving in, to get right over his head because he doesn't want that telegraph. Because as soon as that's telegraphed, Remy's going to be up in the air, elbowing him. Oh wow, he actually got the dive there, but it's very few and far between. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, see that jumping hard punch right there? He was thinking he's gonna dive, jump in neutral and dive, so he's gonna top him off, air juggle.
All right. Oh, what a smart move by Show. Just raw palm to blow up the low parry. Grab. Oh, okay. So that's kind of Show autopiloting a little bit there.
Hmm.
Whoa!
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the shimmy. The shimmy. The shimmy. Oh my gosh. That was unbelievable, the shimmy. Let's watch that sequence in real time. You know, obviously, because oh.
さあ緊迫した空気の中密着からちょっと距離を取るしっかり立ってるぞ怖いし円柱バーバレは前風呂でケアあーっといった読み
Yeah. Like, I almost feel like Remy cannot do any type of medium since he doesn't have like a high or low really mix up, right? So it's like he has to wait till the person gets up. And it's even better if, you know, there's a sonic boom there, but I think he has to wait.
I see. Okay.
Because then you have to allow the person to jump well. Because then it's like half his moves work best when they're jumping up, not jumping like down on you, you know, but like when they're rising. Flash kick earlier from the last match, hitting as he's rising, that crouching fierce punch as he's rising. Those situations you have to, I guess, allow them to get up first, because there's no, I mean, you can medium, but that's just what, high parry, you know, if you want to hit confirm, and he has no low hit confirm, and it's just a big risk.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Payoff. Yeah.
So now what we're watching is Onuki taking on Pierrot. Now this matchup is a bitch, right? Like for Remy. I mean, this matchup is just not good at all.
Yeah.
So what are your overall thoughts on the Remy Chun matchup?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I had to take off the headphones. I had to charge my head.
Your camera went down though, so make sure you.
Oh
yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but sorry about that. Yeah, I guess it really depends on the Chun-Li. You know, the Chun-Li, you know, they have their hit confirms. Then it's more about it's like racing them before they get their meter.
Yeah. So let's just rewind that round, because I feel like we didn't really pay attention to it very much. So actually, Piero got a perfect on Chun in this round.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice little cross up there. And notice how hard Pierrot is working to be unpredictable. Kind of like a point you made earlier, right, Everdred? Like he's not pressing the buttons when he usually presses them. He always tries to mix up the timing, you know? He always waits. You know, because it's like there's something about the character, right? Where like your opponent, he knows that you're made out of glass. He knows that you don't want to get hit. And so naturally your opponent's going to be more aggressive. And how do you blow that up? You know, you mix up your timing, you know, you do parry baits and shit like that. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice little punish there. Oh my God. Oh! You see how he walked back to do an EX? Oh my God. Oh. You know, and as someone playing against Remy, right? Well, he missed the hit confirm there, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah. But in terms of playing against Remy, you know, I'm always like of the mindset where like, okay, I can't get hit with any stupid shit. Right?
Yeah. It kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
We get hit by something, and then he's almost at the corner. Or if yeah.
Like that high boom was not safe, right? This high boom right here, watch. That was not safe. Oh, that's so sick. That read again, right?
Yeah, it's like that's like that move on like really you're thinking, oh, the person's crouching, they're doing a move, you know, they're crouching, they're gonna get hit for longer, you know, not stun, stun, you know, you're at this range, you're not gonna get hit afterwards, but you know, they're moving at the same time, you're moving at the same time, so the ranges will change and stuff. So the situation is like, oh, he threw me last time, this time I flash kicked him, so and it's just a hair difference between the spacing, you know, and then you do that same spacing again and you don't flash kick, or you dash back, or even if they got thrown or flash kick, they're going to do it again just to test you.
So what we're watching right now is we're watching MOV taking on Pierrot here. Really good start by Pierrot. That whiff fierce into the Kara grab. Oh, that Kara grab is so good. What button do you use to Kara grab? Because I use roundhouse, but
I mean, I guess I'm pretty lazy. I use the punch one. You want to use roundhouse? It's like I feel like I have to position my hands in like a claw, or like it's weird. Like, it has that same almost. It feels the same kind of hand position. The Chung-Li.
Oh my god, dude, Everdred. Dude, I can't even like how big are Pierrot's cojones for this flash kick, dude. Like I just
you go for it. Yeah, play. Yeah.
Where was it? It's right here, dude. Dude, this flash kick. I'm just not even like that flash kick was gross. So he gets thrown in the corner, right? That dude. Everdred.
It's like you can't do it on the mark, you know? Because if you do anything on the mark with Remy, it's like
too easy.
It's going to be a down parry, or you're going to just jump over it, you know? If you do it right on the mark, I think Pierrot has a way of being offbeat.
Yes, offbeat.
Yeah.
Messing with the rhythm of your opponent, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let alone identifying what that rhythm is. Some players can't even identify the rhythm at which your opponent plays. But then being able to identify it and then mess with it?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, Green Tea, I played him, I don't know, like a year or two ago. No little casual set over on, you know, at the next level, and like every time I went to do something, he pressed the button. He was playing Elena, and I picked Remy, and the anticipation of me pressing the button, not me pressing the button, I got hit out of that. So he was reading my movement, like the offbeat movement I was trying to do, and the offbeat is pattern that he picked up. So he wasn't beating my moves. He was just like the setup itself. There's just like, it was just disgusting. Like, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, so much more to learn and to really like, because you know, I still don't have any answers at all. You know, it's subconscious. Like, how do you know, break yourself?
Well, I think something we also have to remember, right? It's like every game is its own unique thing, right? Like every game, like we've played, like between the two of us, we've probably played thousands of games of Third Strike, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Every game is its own little story, you know?
Yeah, and Green Tea has like probably like triple 3,000 times. I don't know how many times the experience is. And also it's who you play. You know, if you're like playing like really high level people, you're going to pick up high level stuff. You know, even if you're losing. And I think you pick Remy, and you get used to like losing because it's like
that's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, you get used to losing, and you're like, okay, did I lose because of me or did I lose because of Remy? And then you have to pick that part, you know. You're like, oh, it's like, oh, that person was a better player. Like, oh no, like, oh, I had this experience, like I should be better, and like, oh, what is it about, you know, that matchup that they, you know, have been, yeah.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, because it's like, you know, something that I heard about Pierrot. You know, this is a guy that would constantly lose. You know, in the arcades, guy that was just struggling over and over and over. But you know, like you, he has that loyalty to that character. He wants to figure it out.
I would really be awesome to like get in contact, like, you know, the Japanese Remy and like really pick their brain, and like, you know, it's like a whole other like game they're playing.
Yeah.
Like when I see how they're playing Third Strike, and it's just it's a whole different like oh, you can, you know, get the tier list, and that means, you know, like that's for them, you know, that's to the highest level, and it's for like you and like Nika, and like I'm not nowhere close to like being anywhere on mentionable to you guys, but I'm starting to see like the where I can small.
Yeah, like where you can contribute, right? To like to that Third Strike story, you know. Because I always felt like your offense was really good. You know,
yeah.
I just think, you know, in terms of just increasing your knowledge of the character, and that's sort of organic in a sense, you know. It's gonna take time.
20 years, I'll be as good as like I'll be as good as like 1995 like Japan.
Even though Third Strike was released in 1999, right?
Yeah. They'll be like, you know, be like, wow, this was really good. 40, you're really good. Like, this was really good 40 years ago. It evolved since then. Like, Hugo's top tier. Hit with times. Hugo's top tier.
So what advice would you have for players that are, you know, we're going to talk more about 30th after our second and final break, but, you know, what kind of advice do you have for players who are just picking up Third Strike now, thanks to the release of 30th Anniversary, and, you know, they see Remy and they gravitate towards him? You know, what are some of your top pieces of advice for, you know, beginning Remy players? Besides follow Everdred, right? Or, you know,
there's no follow anything. I have nothing to follow. I just pick a character and I play the game, and I like to play the game, and that's it. You know, no, but just be happy when you do something cool.
Yeah.
It's
okay to pat yourself in the back. It's okay to feel yourself a little bit.
Like if you just like completely did no combos, and you just like poked a person, and whoever you're playing, you know, if you're in the game, and you completely like just poke them to death, just like, and they're like, oh, that's so cheap, that's so lame. Just remember, like you can pick any character and just be happy that, you know, that character, you know, exists, you know, and they're not like some meathead. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, like, dude, it's so rewarding landing cool stuff with Remy, right?
Yeah,
like the close round hat, like the close forward, you know, like fucking empty jump EX flash kick when that shit works.
Like all the losses, like all the cool, like the few in between things of cool things that happen, like the losses, it all balances out. Like, oh, man, because I mean, I think 90% of the time you can do something cool and you still
yeah, exactly. And then you can just kind of look back and go, well, you know, I did do that. That was cool.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's, and also it's fatiguing.
Uh-huh.
It really is. You have to play at a distance and really be watching the whole screen, like their movement, their placement and stuff. So it's like kind of wears on you.
Oh, it's mentally draining. Oh, I can't imagine how mentally draining using Remy is at a high level. Yeah, that's just, it is.
So, because I mean, they can just like down parry every. Even if you get hit by, even I'm pressing things that aren't down parry, like, like other than super, there's no damage that can really. It's like, oh, I got hit by something high, and like I just down parry everything, like at the smallest level, right? And
like when Remy has no meter, down parry is pretty strong, dude.
Yeah,
like it's pretty strong. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and take our second and final break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more Remy with Everdred, but we're also going to turn our attention to 30th anniversary. As I had stated earlier in the podcast, Everdred is currently your number 1 ranked Third Strike player on Switch. So we're gonna get his thoughts on 3S on the Switch and whether he likes it or not. But in the meantime, don't go anywhere, guys. Coming back with some more Mutant XPerience.
Switch is awesome.
How's it going, guys? Mutant XP back with more Mutant XPerience podcast with my very special guest, longtime Remy player Everdred. So, Everdred, what's going on with this 30th anniversary on Switch, man? Like, well, first of all, like, what kind of? I guess I can only assume you must have already had a Switch, right? And then you decided I'll try 30th anniversary, or what's?
I just figured. I mean, when the game came out, what year game came out? 99?
Yeah.
I don't need 4K for a game in 99.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anyone needs 4K for a game that came out in 99. So, and I don't really play a lot of like games, I guess. What is it? So like Third Strike is like a must-have I guess. I had it for Xbox 360, and I told you earlier, I got broken into to live in a hood. But it's not like it's kind of
really
like
sucks.
yeah, it's cool. So I got that was stolen. PlayStation 4 was stolen, and like my other Switch, but that was used, so I bought a new one. But I didn't buy a 360 or a PlayStation 4 again because I'm like,
you're an artist, man.
I guess I don't know. No, yeah. So I have like really particular taste. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with Nintendo, because Nintendo is I don't know. They just the system is very small. You can carry it around places, and like the indies or whatever, these remakes that are coming out, they don't require like a high output system. They don't require the specifics that Xbox, or PlayStation have.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me I probably have a PC that could run Steam, and I could get that on there. I need to get my keyboard and mouse. I'm just not a PC person. Like, I feel like my personal information will be automatically. I'm just paranoid like that. But yeah, I need to get on Steam because Switch is great. Northeast, East Coast people. I can play connected to them. I have an Hori Ethernet, a USB to Ethernet adapter, and so that makes it hardwired.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really technically make it hardwired. It increases the speed, but I don't know how it increases the speed of your internet, but I don't know how much more stable it makes it.
No, I don't think it increases the speed because I do the speed checks,
really?
And
wow.
It just makes it more stable.
Okay.
So there's no wavering with the Wi-Fi. It's just hardline. I wish Nintendo Switch had an Ethernet. Whatever.
Yeah.
If they come out with a dock that has an Ethernet port to it, I'll buy the dock again. That's why I kind of like the Switch because it's it's in parts. And you can carry it, and this game is old. Like.
So where's the tell us now, Everdred? Where's the weirdest place you've played Third Strike? Now that you can play it on the go, man. Like where have you played Third Strike on the go, man?
Nowhere. Maybe if I bring my stick to New York and I bring my Switch, and then look, I have a Switch and a stick. And I have a converter, or do you have a converter? And and then bam, you get a TV, or not even. You don't even need a TV. You just hook it up right there.
Well, how long does the Switch last?
Like 3 hours.
That's it.
Like 3, 4. I don't know. Like,
man, no, but airplanes. Because I was thinking, right? Like if you went to Japan's like a 13-hour flight.
I'm pretty sure they have like
imagine if you and I went to Japan.
It's more than 3 hours. Don't quote me, please.
Yeah. Imagine if you and I went to Japan, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It works for a long while. You don't play that shit on like handheld. Maybe that's why I'm top, because I've been playing all these people.
Yeah, right. They're playing with their little Joy-Cons and shit. Like they have to play with the little Joy-Cons. Oh no! Blown up. He was holding them all along.
It's right here. The Joy-Cons. I do it like this.
How do you partition with that shit, dude? How do you partition with that? No, but seriously though, like how is the game on Switch? Because I don't know anything about like how the game is. And
it's the same thing as I'm assuming. The only thing is different. I assume that
are the lobbies buggy like in PS4?
I mean,
like do they do they have that bug where like you try to skip but you can't skip?
I don't know. I've been in a lobby like 5 times. Like I've been waiting. Like I wait for like a couple minutes, and I'm like, well, there's no one on in North America that has Third Strike, I guess, on the Switch. No, there is. There's a lot, but no one's. Man, they just need to patch it and make it so the lobbies and the connecting and matchmaking is better. They just, God, they got our money. And they're going to get our money next time, too.
Yeah.
The 45th, the 50th. They're going to keep getting our money. We're going to keep buying the game over. I'm going to keep.
Well, how does it? You know, we have some questions, particularly from Basics in the chat.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even like looking at.
Yeah, that's all right. But how does the game feel offline? Like when you play it offline, like how does it feel? I mean, I don't know what kind of TV or monitor you're using, but you know.
Some whatever flash screen.
I
just I don't play offline. There's no one to play offline. I just I need to get it on Steam. It was really good on Xbox, the online edition, but all the bells and whistles, all that extra crap, I think made it crappy. Like, I don't know, it's just way distracting. Wait, it's ask a question or something?
Oh no, it's just Basics asked how offline feels on Switch. That's all. So.
Oh, I'm assuming it's the same. But it has the advantage where you bring your Switch over to somebody and it's like, you know, someone's place or whatever, and you have just a little tiny thing to carry. As opposed to a PlayStation 4, which it gets bumped once, or an Xbox gets, you know, that shit's done. It's like, why carrying this big ass thing? But Switch is, you know, easily, you know, you can carry that around. It's just, they just need to work on their infrastructure and their net code. And then, and then Nintendo would be, I mean, that's all they need.
Let's see I wonder if you have any matches on YouTube, dude. The Nintendo Switch. Let's see.
No, this guy, I forget this guy. Gamist YouTube YT. I swear, this guy is a YouTuber. And every time I play him, even in casuals, this is in ranked, he quits every freaking time. I'm like, yo, just play, man. Just, like, we're adults. Like, why? Who are you doing this audience for? Like, YouTube. It has to. Fuck, man. Like, I put like 90% of all my matches online are just me losing. it's like here's another one, me losing. Here's another. They're all me losing. Like, I fucking like you're learning the game. You know, like you're gonna lose, and if you're not losing, you're not learning the game. I guess that's fun. You know. No.
Well. Speaking of losing, Everdred, I think now's as good a time as any to start a segment that we do every week here on the Mutant XPerience. And so obviously I'm talking about Pack It Up. So for those of you who are new to the podcast, so essentially what I do is I scour the internet for some of the more unique lowlights from Third Strike's gameplay. So, you know, I go on YouTube and I pick out 5 clips that I think are, you know, particularly egregious, and then I have everyone vote on who they think is the winner for Pack It Up. And so we got a pretty high level Pack It Up this week, you know, and so I guess without further ado, guys, here goes Pack It Up. You ready, Everdred?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, Pack It Up. Oh man, I'm excited here. All right. So nominee number 1. So I love how players. So notice that the Ryu player threw a fireball and Yang did the dragon kick. So you would think that the Yang player would be like, all right, Data, I got it. You know, but no. So I guess the player didn't sort of retain that piece of information from the beginning of the round to the end.
Oh no.
Oh, speaking of buggy lobbies, check this clip out. What better way to avoid the massive jumping combo than to just rip your Ethernet cable out of your PlayStation or whatever system you're using? Oh my god.
Mom!
Yeah, right. Nominee number 3. This is probably one of the worst perfects. It's either one of the worst perfects I've ever seen or the best perfects. Watch as this Necro player to totally take advantage of this Yugos player's unwillingness to block.
Unwillingness to block.
So, I know you've never been guilty of playing with your food, Everdred, but this is just ridiculous. Watch as this Yun player, twirls his hat to defeat. You notice he did that not once, but twice? This is funny right here. Wow, speaking of playing with your food, this is a clip that I had to include, knowing that you were on the show today, Everdred. So it appears as though this Yugo player has this game in hand, but you know what they say, right? Like, for those of you pro wrestling fans out there, you got to take that John Cena approach. You never give up.
I mean, Remy has the advantage as long as she's not in the corner, right?
Yeah.
As long as he can.
Just the fact that this Yugo player led him out of the corner.
Yeah. Like, fuck that shit.
That was one of the worst examples of playing with your food that I have ever seen. And of course, Japan supplies the clip this week. So once again, guys, let me know which one you think should win this week's Pack It Up champion. What was your favorite clip, Everdred?
I like the I don't know, the Remy match looks like a normal match.
Yeah, it looks like a normal match to you, right?
It doesn't look embarrassing at all. That just can happen. It's like,
no, but why would the Yugo player let him out of the corner? That was just ridiculous.
Because he thought he could maybe flash kick him. Maybe he's gonna wake up or do something crazy. It's like, oh, you're gonna do something crazy right now. I'm gonna back up. It's like, I can get my time, and it's like, oh, okay. Remy's like, I don't have to. All I have to do is not be touched, and then, like, I guess that mentality. All I have to do is not get hit. Like, that kind of eliminates a lot of the things that you have to worry about. And then because the person's not going to play to, like, at their full strength, they're just going to play to get you that one hit. So it's like, okay, I know what that one hit is. So all you do is avoid that one hit. And then it's like, that's like probably 50% of the 10% of the matches out of the 90% of the matches I lose. But out of the 10% I win, like 50% of them are like that, where it's like, oh, all you have to do is avoid that one hit. I'm already low on health. They're not going to be doing this full grandiose thing anymore. Just one. So it's like, okay, it's like it simplifies the game. Like, it makes it like, it kind of gives the Remy an advantage, because it's like, oh, it's not my health risk anymore because I'm going to lose anyways. So you don't have to think about, like, all that. It I don't know. If the other player's thinking that way too, then it's like, you're screwed. It's like, oh, you're screwed anyways. But if they get into that mindset where it's only that one hit left, then, and you know what that one hit is, then you just avoid it. Like, and then that's the glimpse of hope you have, I guess.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we ended the podcast, and I've always been so curious about this, Everdred. So for those of you on the stream who don't know, Everdred is an artist. He's a painter. And you have a pretty unique story, but I won't be the one to decide whether you want to tell it or not. But one thing I did want to share with the stream is that you are an artist, you're a painter. And I've always wondered, like how does that, like, are those two things, like Third Strike and painting and art, are those two things that are just pretty much in their own compartment for you, like in terms of just separate worlds? Or is there any sort of transference between the two? Like, like in terms of, being an artist, being a painter, and the way you play Third Strike or the way you approach Third Strike? I mean, are there any connections, or are they just kind of these two separate things that you've always kind of kept separate throughout most of your life?
I I can appreciate. Maybe that's the reason why I played. I can not be as bored with Remy because I appreciate. I don't know, anyone who like take just basic level an art history class.
Mm-hmm.
You see like the influences inside the game, like from an art standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So like you see like the dying soldier statue. Anyone remember seeing that, and then you see like how Urian like falls over and dies or whatever, or gets KO'd.
Mm-hmm.
So you see like that stuff, like the Greek and Roman statue stuff like that. And then like and for Remy, like high fashion couture. But it's not just what you wear, but it's like the angles and what you're thinking of. I think before Remy, it was very much a up close game, Street Fighter 3.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't yeah, you had mid-range fighting, but it was really up close and mid-range, within limb range of the other person. So, like, it's like you're bringing it back to that projectile dependency, but Akuma has that too. But he was brought in, in Second Impact, but he wasn't like, it wasn't very competitive because he was like, we're kind of broken. But how do you bring in fireballs and make them important in a game where you can just like, just avoid them? But then you don't have to put all that stuff. Nah. What are you doing?
I just saw this picture of you. I just googled you. I like your hair there. You haven't cut your hair in a while, it seems.
Yes. Yeah.
So keep going. Continue. You were saying.
I don't know. I forget. What was I saying? Yeah. I being in New York was like definitely I was very thankful, grateful to be able to experience Chinatown Fair, around, last remaining whatever years. I don't know how much longer after I stopped going to stuff. But I was there for, a couple of years, and it's just really, the game is kind of empty if you're just playing the computer or no one else. You get a lot of personality and expression with the characters, and then you learn a lot about the people that you're going against, and it's a deep level of like understanding. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if I'm autistic or on the spectrum for that shit, but I've just never been very good at making and keeping friends. But people, I guess, you people play them long enough, and then it's like you're more comfortable that way. I don't know. Yeah, like you could really, like, if you take a normal art class or whatever, you go through some art history books, and then you start seeing everything they put into Street Fighter 3. Like they put, like, that is the true classic, like timeless masterpiece. Like they were saying Street Fighter 2 was going to be timeless. No, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is. I mean, that game can come out. If someone see that game, and they polished it up and put it like the Third Strike port, the arcade port, and press start to, as the start button or A button, like all the intros and all the quotes and all the grade system, nothing cut out, no extra bells. But that's a $60 game still. Like, if it had perfect online and it was just the arcade bit, like, I would pay $60 for that. I don't think anyone would not pay $60 for that. Like, just a perfect arcade, no extra crap in it. Because you appreciate it. Like, all the stuff, like, anyone who's played it can see, what was in it, what was in the arcade. But all these ports and stuff keep taking stuff away from it and taking stuff out. It's really draining playing in lobbies on the 30th anniversary, because there's no break in between. Like, you beat somebody or you lose, and you're right back into it, which is great, I guess. But it's just like, holy shit, there's only me and you in this room. I need a cigarette, bathroom break. I need to think. I need to, there's like, in that arcade culture, going to Chinatown Fair and being there, you put your quarter up, you wait in line, and you had time to think, between your matches, between your game. And I think that's the biggest disadvantage to learning these old games, these new systems, because you're not prolonging it. You're just like bam, 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 and then it's like I guess you learn that way. A lot of people learn that way, but it's like harsh, and you get burnt out. And I get tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see anyone having fun, like, playing that, like, extreme hardcore, like, no break. If there's, like, people in the lobby, then it's nice. And also, if you can talk to people, that might work too. But there's nothing going to replace the experience of, learning in an arcade. That was just like, this stuff there, you just learn. And it's like, so if you learn stuff outside of the game, that applies to the game. Mm-hmm. And then I think, like, if a game ever came out that was like Third Strike, then you could possibly, be good at it, or whatever, but it wouldn't ever be Third Strike. So.
Well, you certainly are an idealist, Doug.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
If you think that there's ever going to be an arcade perfect, I mean, maybe there has to be like a breakthrough, like in physics, right? Like something on the theoretical level in order for something like that to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think they do that on purpose.
You think they have the technology already? They just don't want to.
Yeah.
They're just milking it.
I think that's what all the companies do. They find out exactly the consumer, the next best thing instead of that. But they organize that with other corporations, other companies, so they're always offering the next best, but not the full experience. So you end up buying four things to get the experience in one, instead of getting the one thing. Like, you're never quite. I'm never quite satisfied. Also, I'm a terrible shopper.
So, what have you been trying to do on Switch in terms of? Have you been trying to grow the scene, or I don't know, have you been doing any of that, or are you just kind of playing?
I really like.
Is there like a Facebook page for these Switch Third Strike players now, or are you thinking of making one?
Breath of the Wild, so I play that a lot. And that Street Fighter came out, so I'm like, Street Fighter. And but there's no way to contact your friends list on the Switch.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I can turn my screen dark. You can go and I have friends, and there's no way to contact them.
Like, there's no way to type messages to them? No, that's impossible.
Chat.
Is it really? Is that really? No. You can't message people on Switch.
Seriously, chat.
Really?
Confirm.
Wow.
Confirm that shit. It's serious. It's like, why you do this, Nintendo? Like, you can't talk to people. You have to get Discord, and that's what I heard of what Splatoon players have to do, to get the Discord in order to organize like team tournaments. They don't have voice chat. You know, you can't even send a text message. You can't send a text message. There's no way to organize at all on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm on Reddit, you know, and I did a Reddit thing. You know, I sent a message on the channel there, but I'm not trying to like make some, you know, movement or anything.
Yeah.
I have a Switch and I have a decent connection, and I'm in that I like to play.
Yeah, so what's your username for the people out there that are watching that are playing Third Strike on Switch? You know,
Oh, just Everdred. You know, just Everdred.
Everdred, okay.
And this is I, you know, I've been playing the game as long as you've been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not trying to troll anybody, and if there's so many more people better than I, so I'm not the person to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm learning from those people, you know, trying to pick up as much as I can. And if they mention something, you know, I'd be like, I shake I nod and pretend I know what they're talking about, and I have to go back and like I'm embarrassed to say, what is the Chun-Li thing that do? It's like an acronym.
What?
There's the Chun-Li option selects, all these high level terms. Like, I don't know at all. I have no clue. Like, I know super jump canceling, Chun-Li.
You mean, are you talking about SGGK?
Yeah!
Okay.
I don't know what the F that is. It's like, what is that? Like, I admit that. I want to admit that because I want to know what that is, because I'm never in.
Well, it's basically an option select where you can input Chun-Li's throw in a certain way, where if the opponent presses a button, you'll parry their attack and then go into super. And then you can punish and go into, and then you'll hit like roundhouse super or something. You know, so like, you know how, like, for example, you do Chun-Li's grab, you can Kara with roundhouse, right? So you'll hit like Kara, but there's a way to do it. You know, obviously, I'm not a Chun player, but there's dozens of videos on YouTube on it where you could perform it a certain way, where if basically the opponent doesn't do anything, you grab them with a Kara grab. But if they press a button, you'll automatically parry into roundhouse into super.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, see, I mean, I knew that something like that, like, was there, but I didn't know, like, the terminology, you know, like, SGGK, and I understand. Like,
but you know, Dad, you know, D.
I love Dad. Dad is like, man, I was just like, Dad is like.
I'm telling you, man, Remy's offensive game is so good, dude. It's so good. You just can't get touched. That's it.
Yeah.
Just can't get touched. So, speaking of high level Third Strike, so as we mentioned earlier on the stream, Everdred is planning to attend Random Select Weekend, which is going to happen next month in July, July 21st to 22nd, Saturday and Sunday, live at iFix Machine in Brooklyn, IFM. So, Everdred, are there any things you're looking forward to when it comes to Random Select? You know, just aside from, you know, being able to play on arcade perfect Third Strike all weekend. I mean, aside from that, you know, what are some of the things you're looking forward to? Coming back to your home away from home, of course.
You know, I was born in Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, that's true, right? You were born in Brooklyn, then you moved to Florida, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like in a different timeline, like I would have been local at that time.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, but I don't know. It would be nice to come back. I'm not very social.
Well, you seem pretty social on here, so I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's because I have my doors locked.
Yeah, your doors locked.
And my windows have the lights on them, and it's a acclimate temperature.
Yeah, I'm sort of excited to kind of see you and Rage kind of interact, and
he beats me like 6 out of 10, and I think it's really just he's facing better competition, so he's a stronger player. So like, actually not even 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, like, hands down, handed. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like, I mean, Yuki, he picked Remy, he destroys me with like anybody. So small.
Yeah.
But
are there any other players you're looking forward to playing again at Random Select?
Show you that elbow. Yeah, it's because it's funny because like Remy versus Necro, it's just so funny because like, yeah, you can maul me, but you just can't be in the air ever.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm in the air, but I got on the ground really fast.
Yeah.
It's like getting drilled.
Yeah, like I can maul you, but I have to get to you.
Yeah. Like, how do I move forward?
Yeah.
Because I can't walk forward.
Like, every one of our games is like a fucking RPG, dude. Like, it's like, I don't think our games ever end like with more than 38 seconds on the clock, dude. So,
like, there's no reason to ever cross that line.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do, like, I don't have to move forward. And I like those matchups. Chun-Li, you have to really move.
Yeah, you're at to press the issue with Chun,
Yeah, you have to really make her, like, end everything else other than super.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you're like, oh. And then it's like a big risk because it's like you have buttons that beat her in situations like fart fierce. You do crouching roundhouse, but crouching roundhouse, you have to be like, okay, I can take the punishment if they block it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a super. You can take everything until they have the super, and then when they have the super, but if you took too much, they do the super dead. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've pretty much come to the end of the podcast, but before we get out of here, I just wanted to say thank you again, Everdred, for being on the show, man. Hopefully you start streaming. Maybe. What do you think? You think is there going to be a streaming future? Is there streaming in the future of Everdred on Switch?
What would I have to stream? I have nothing. I have no content or personality, or I have nothing to say. I have nothing.
All right, and I forgot to ask you, but you've never been to Japan yet, right? Or
No, I've never been to Japan. I never talked to anyone from Japan. Never learned any type of, any type of like. I would, I'd be very humbled and it'd be very nice, if some good player told me some things, the secrets. But it's been nice to be at where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Based on wholeheartedly everyone I've played. This New York scene, people in Miami, Florida, people online, the West Coast, some players that go through, like the Midwest. Blood Urian, he freaking like leveled me up like a whole bunch. Yuki, like it's all about who you play, and it's really, that's it. And you can't, you're trying to, and people, you don't care if you lose. Just don't care. It's like just stop caring if you lose, and just play and just get better. It's you're on your own competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I see it.
Awesome. So before we get out of here, guys, I just wanted to go ahead and let everyone know about all of the cool other Third Strike streamers over on Twitch. So first and foremost, I just wanted to let you guys know that you've been watching the Mutant XPerience podcast, and on Mondays and Wednesdays at 11 p.m. I run another stream called 3S After Dark, where we run sets now on Steam, free from commentary. So check me out on Monday night. Shout outs to Vankabot, multi-game streamer. He streams Third Strike a lot as well. He also streams other games like Final Fantasy, Dark Souls, Resident Evil, and things of that nature. West Coast Third Strike, still holding it down for SoCal, the Boiler Room, check them out. They stream every now and then at the Kaz Show. Also, they got tons of footage, tons of archival footage on their YouTube channel. Shout outs to Surge Arcadium, who's actually, I think he's currently running his ST Legends online qualifier right now, but he also does Monday Night Fightcade on Mondays. And holding it down on the Third Strike end for Fightcade is Harov. He's been on Steam a little bit too, but I think he went back to Fightcade just to kind of keep that scene alive there. So shout outs to Harov, Kazi, and AC Slayer for that. Sato Saturday, Lost Ark video games. They should be streaming right now. Lost Ark, one of the few arcades left on the East Coast. So if you're ever in the North Carolina area, check them out. Thriving 3S scene in the United Kingdom, and they all play over at Violent City, which is in East London. So Doug, if you're ever in England, definitely hit them up.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely go to England.
And did you know that they have a Third Strike scene in Wisconsin, Doug?
Yeah, it must be the corn. Seriously, I think it's
the corn.
Oh, no, Wisconsin would be the cheese, right?
The cheese, yeah, the cheese.
Yeah, but wherever blood urine is.
No, he's from they're from Kansas or Nebraska.
Yeah,
they're from Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska's legit. Like,
yeah.
Right? Guys, like if he's just one guy doing that, holy fuck, holy shit.
Yeah. So once again, guys, thanks for watching the Mutant XPerience podcast. Thanks again, Everdred, for being on the show. You're welcome back anytime. Next week, it's going to be another great Mutant XPerience podcast, because next week we're going to have the SoCal Dudley Master, Sherwood, on the podcast next week. So definitely watch out for that. And so, also, if you guys are looking to watch some Third Strike action tonight, Arcade UFO is going to be streaming a singles tournament fairly soon. So, once I go off the air with this podcast, either go to their Twitch channel. I'll be hosting them as well. So definitely check out some high-level Third Strike action live from Austin, Texas, Arcade UFO when this ends. All right.
That'd be freaking.
Yeah. All right, guys. So once again, Mutant XP signing off. So until then, catch you guys later. See you on the next Mutant XPerience podcast. Later, guys.